either one of the two of you have ever had.
Well, there's no question about that. You know, Larry Zbyszko right now, from listening to these interviews as I watch in a monitor in my dressing room, you know, to listen to him, he looks back in the early days of our working out, and you see, and he honestly believes that that was the whole thing, that I was putting out everything in there, that I was putting all my strength, that I was applying full force in all the holds and so forth. And with that in mind, he really believes that it's going to be a cinch. He's just going to go in that ring, and he's just going to beat me because he can outmaneuver me, as he chooses to believe. He's going to outmaneuver me. He's going to show more holds than I have anymore. And as he put it, he's younger than I am in the years. There's no question about that. But you know, sometimes when you go into that ring and you meet someone, it's not always how much you even know. It's how much you have in your heart and what do you feel. And what I've felt, you know, I've gone through an awful lot of pain with this experience with Larry Zbyszko, an awful lot of pain. More pain than probably than anything. And I've had tremendous pains going back in my childhood in Europe with the war and everything else. I've known an awful lot of pain, and this certainly matches almost any pain that I've ever known. But that pain, Larry, has turned into bitterness, and I think I have just cause. Just cause. You have given me that just cause to be so bitter. And I am so bitter, Larry. I cannot tell you. You will never understand even what you've done to me, because you have turned me into such a bitter man, and that bitterness has got to come out. And it's going to come out only when I meet you in the ring. But Larry, it's going to come out, and I think your mind is going to, you're going to blow your mind, because you're not going to believe that this is the same guy that you used to work out with in a mat. You're going to wonder to yourself, my God, where did he get this power? Where did he get this force? Where did he get this strength and this stamina? Because Larry, you're going to see your teacher. You're going to see exactly how much he held back. You're going to see just how much he has in that heart and in that body. You're going to feel it all, because you're going to feel it in that ring. And Larry, you're going to say to yourself, my God, what did I do? I grabbed the tiger by its tail, and what do you do with it now? Because Larry, when I get through with you in Madison Square Garden, I said before, I created a Frankenstein, and I'm going to destroy that Frankenstein that I created. But more than that, Larry Zbyszko, you think that you climbed that mountain by using me, the guy who poured his heart out to you. Well, Larry, as I said before, you're going to make the biggest splash when you fly off that mountain and onto that bottom. You're going to make such a splash there won't even be a spot left of you. There won't even be a remembrance that even such an idiot as Larry Zbyszko even ever existed.
Bruno Sammartino. And unquestionably, the bitterness will come out, ladies and gentlemen, in Madison Square Garden. It'll all come out in the squared circle. But not only Bruno Sammartino's bitterness. Surely the bitterness, and some of it perhaps justified, as it relates to Larry Zbyszko. With that in mind, let's bring on Larry Zbyszko to have his views, if we may, on the match in Madison Square Garden.
Well, I tell you, Vince, I'm not very bitter, but I don't know if I can go through another 3 minutes of Bruno crying to all his fans again about how bitter he is. What does he have to be bitter about? He came on TV, tried to embarrass me, and it didn't work. Well, I want to confess to everybody, I have never felt more happy and more free in my entire life. I took myself, by myself, out of that ridiculous little box of a shadow that Bruno put me in for the last 8 years, and I broke it myself, and I raised myself above everybody, and now Larry Zbyszko is a front page name everywhere. And the only thing I lost was the support of Bruno Sammartino and you fans, and maybe you, and maybe some of the wrestlers. And you know what? It doesn't matter.
Don't miss it in Madison Square Garden.